Hey guys, we're just going to get a look at Khan, the new champion that's been released in OB69. Now this is just a video more for tips on how to use Khan, or just ways you might not have thought about beforehand. It's not really a full in-depth guide, but you might get something useful out of this, or possibly get answers to questions that you might have had in your head in terms of how his skills work against other champions. Now first up, we're going to go through the shield, because that's the one I have least to say about. His shield can toggle in and out as much as you like, as long as the shield hasn't been smashed, otherwise there is a bit of a cooldown. Now the idea behind this really is that you should have the shield put away as much as you possibly can, because even with the Lian shield legendary, where holding your shield out recharges 60% faster than normal, it still recharges slower than if you had the shield put away, just as you can see from this comparison video. So the basic idea really is that, you know, if you're not using the shield, try to have it put away as much as possible, just so you can get the most efficient charge time. As long as you're not being hit whilst his shield is up, you can still get out of combat healing. So that's pretty useful in that you can keep yourself safe and healed at the same time. And then if you do get shot at, you're not going to lose any health. Otherwise, I don't really have much to say on his shield. It does work pretty much like every other shield in the game. It's still not going to stop you from getting ulted from things like Zin's Spite or Drogo's Dragon Fury. So let's move on to Commander's Grab. Commander's Grab is something like a weaker version of Makoa's Hook. Once you grab an enemy, they are crippled for the duration that they're held, but once they're thrown behind you, they have free movement, so they can go wherever they want after that, unless you get the stun legendary. Now you probably want to note that if you grab an opponent, even from behind, they do get automatically turned facing towards the direction that they're being thrown. It's just a minor thing, but it's something to note for, say, an example, if you went after a Zin who was low health and you were trying to finish him off, if you did a Commander's Grab, that will throw him behind you, and Zin will also be facing in the direction that he's been thrown. So in that situation, he could possibly whirlwind, and then by the time you turn around, he's absolutely gone. So really, you just want to be careful about the placement of where you throw an enemy. You just want to throw them in a situation where your teammates are around, so you can all jump him together, rather than throwing him in a solo situation where they can then just easily escape whilst you're turned around. Also, because the cripple stops working after they've been thrown, champions like Drogo's can jump out of the throw and start attacking as soon as they're out of that. So just do be careful when you do throw champions like him. Beware that this is countered by resilience, so you are only just getting the 400 damage, but the champion is near enough just going to fall back down right in front of you if you grab them with resilience 3. Last thing to note is that when you grab a champion, your crosshair is free to move around, so do start aiming at the player before they actually get thrown in the air, just so you can get an extra few shots before they even land. Okay, Battle Cry. That gives you some damage immunity as you use it. It only lasts for the duration of the animation, but with some good timing, it is really good for certain situations, such as ultimates like Terminus, Sky, Genos, and Lian. It will protect you against Drogo's for the duration of the animation, but yeah. It does momentarily work on Zin's ultimate, but the last 2 shots will land. It's important to also remember that if you don't have the legendary, you will get hit by crowd control. The good thing is, if you have the immune legendary, it does give you crowd control immunity for 4 seconds. With his battle cry cooldown maxed out and also Chronos 2, you essentially can have 4 seconds crowd control immunity for every 4 seconds that you don't. So essentially you can have crowd control immunity 50% of the time, which is pretty ridiculous. I do hope this is kind of nerfed soon, but in the meantime, enjoy guys. Now this CC immunity does work on things such as Makoa's Hook, Tovol's Nullify, and even his ultimate, which you can just walk straight through. There's a few things that the immunity is not 100% effective for. The one I found was that Pip's KFC treatment still works, and it does hold you down for just a little while. It looks to be the same as if you had Resilience 3, where you do get 90% control reduction, but not the entire thing. Okay, moving on to everyone's favourite, Khan's ultimate, which is his grab and throw. that launches the enemy super far away and also does 500 damage on top of that as well. A thing to remember is not only can you send them flying far, you can also send them flying high. So you do have more control on the height than you would with Torvald's ultimate. And this is just useful in ways where you can actually just launch your enemy over the wall and throw them in awkward places that might help you in certain situations. For example, if I grabbed Genos here where the walls are super enclosed and there's nowhere to throw him out, you can throw him really high and then that will launch him in a spot where he has to now come all the way back to the payload. Not a big deal, but I imagine in certain situations when the enemy is trying to contest the payload, it'd be a great situation where you can just grab them and launch them away just to get them away from the payload and then to end the overtime or end that round. Some of its weaknesses is that you can still take damage whilst you've got the ultimate going, so be careful about where you're using it. There are skills that other champions have where you can't use your ult, such as Zin's Billow, Jorgos' ult, Makoa's ult when he has Leviathan. But funny enough, you can still grab Torvald out of his ult. I thought it'd be pretty cool if you could just grab him and use both, start throwing each other around everywhere, but it doesn't quite work like that. If you grab Torvald out of his ult, then you stop him from ulting altogether. Now, Resilience does counter his ult, but only the knockback. So if you look here on this comparison video, we've got one side where we have Resilience 3 and the other side where we don't have Resilience at all. And the grip still works just as long in both situations. So even if you are countered by Resilience on your ultimate, it's not entirely useless. I mean, for example, if we grabbed Pip over here, who's just pops around the corner, we can do a little kidnapping and just take him away and put him in a situation where your teammates can shoot at him and he's also away from his own. And again, another example might be useful if you're against Inara, who's got no mobility at all. She has Resilience 3 and you've got your ult. You potentially could use it in a way where you grab her and then again do a bit of a kidnapping and then just put her in a spot where she's away from a team and you guys can just go to town. Guys, that's all the tips I've got this time. If I use him more later and find out some more stuff, I may create another video. Hope you found this useful. If you have any suggestions for me at all, I'd greatly appreciate any feedback. If you just drop a comment down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in another video next time. Take care.